Okay, well, I guess we have quorum now, so I'll call this meeting to order. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? How about a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, Ross and Medina, all in favor? And the minutes are approved. Let's move on to new business.
So the legislative update.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Our Dykema lobbying team is here. Andrea Cascarilla is joining a little late. She might have some additional context to give us, but I wanted to just talk generally about kind of what our legislative landscape is looking at 2024 and what we're kind of prioritizing given where we are. The upshot is not a whole lot is going to be happening in the legislature. As we know, the Democrats have lost their majority, at least until there are special elections. And so they retain their leadership. They retain their leadership of the committees. There will be hearings. There will be, other work going on behind the scenes. But in terms of actual legislative action, there will be virtually nothing happening until mid-May. At least. And then once they regain the majority, they're going to be working hopefully very quickly to pass a state budget. So budget season will dominate in Lansing. And then once the state budget is adopted, we're going right into election season. And so, before there was a Democratic majority in the legislature, we really survived on a kind of lame duck strategy. Like, what are the kind of bipartisan bills that we can be effective on, kind of technical changes in state law, try to get them as far as we can, and then get them hooked onto something in lame duck. And we are oddly in a similar position now because of the way the politics are shaking. And speaking with Andrea the other day, she had anticipated that there would probably not be a lot of major legislative action. I remain hopeful that we can get tutor pays moving. We will see what happens with that. I think we have some, the local speed limits bill is a bipartisan bill that we've been supporting. I have some optimism on that one. I think we're going to be focusing on updates to the building code, which is an administrative function separate from the legislature. We also recently had a meeting with Director Roos at Eagle, Milton, Brian Steglitz, the mayor, and I, and that was a very good meeting, wide-ranging, talking about all kinds of issues with Eagle. So I think that we have some work there on the administrative side. The plastic bag ban legislation, of course, we're going to keep that front and center. And of course, we're going to keep working on earmarks at the legislature. That continues to be a more promising avenue for money than the federal government at this point. And we're going to keep our eyes open for other opportunities. Like I said, in this environment, it's the kind of environment where, bipartisan bills that are more technically oriented might have an opportunity to bubble up. And so we're going to keep our eyes open at the committees, and our lobbyists always have their ears to the rails to see what kind of opportunities. So on the state side, that's where we are at. Any questions or comments on where we are at with the state?
Appreciate your optimism.
Yeah.
I just had a joint coffee hour with Felicia this weekend, and she indicated that Republicans voted down one of their own bills to demonstrate that nothing was moving out of the legislature.
Right.
So, yeah.
We're very much in a let's see what gets teed up in committee phase.
Oh, boy.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, on the federal side, the federal government continues to be unable to pass a budget. So we have some optimism for an earmark for the bill for the budget for the current fiscal year that still hasn't passed. From what what I understand, we're just working through this latest continuing resolution that will fund the government through March. Hopefully, after that, they will take up the actual federal budget and pass it. And we have about $250,000 in funding for upgrading pedestrian signals downtown. That Representative Dingell was able to have attached to the appropriations bill in the House, and that made it through Republican markup. So what the Republicans did was they took every request that came from a Democrat, and many of them didn't survive at all. The ones that did, they cut it down by like half to 3/4. So, you know, that's fine. Elections have consequences. There's money here for us if and when they pass the budget. Andy, on the Dykema team, he and I were just talking about what the earmark schedule is going to look like for the next budget, even though this budget hasn't finished yet, and the feedback he got from our offices, from Representative Dingell and our two senators, was that they hadn't even, they don't have a schedule yet for earmark applications for the coming budget. So our federal team's keeping an eye on that for us. We've started the work internally of, you know, kind of reinvigorating our earmark list and seeing, you know, what's going to score well in this round of funding, and we'll keep our eyes on that as well. So, comments or questions on the federal government?
Anything you need to know?
I mean, you know, I'm gonna be, we should talk about opportunities for lobbying, with some of the bigger events this spring to see what we can do to set the table. You know, for what will be a shortened and very busy session after May. Yeah, right. I think that's, you know, where we're at, having connection with our local delegation. We were originally talking about doing a legislative breakfast every 6 months. I haven't begun the planning process for one now, because I'm not sure there's the urgency to have one right now, but your feedback on the utility of having one at some point in the next 3 months, just to set the table for when they get the majority back. You know, we can.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts before they go into the budget season.
That's right.
So that would be my kind of deadline.
Okay.
The free budget.
Okay.
Also, I will be in DC mid-March for work, and so I don't know if there's anything we can do out there, but.
I'm also going out there in March.
I will be there in late March.
No.
Right, it will be trains passing at night, so we should talk about those opportunities.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. All right. Next up is the committee calendar.
Yes.
Are we ready to approve?
We,
Let's continue meeting the fourth Monday of
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's coming up against council more than anticipated. Okay. Even though it's before.
It was,
How is it?
we got shifted because of Martin Luther King Day and
Yeah.
the New Year's Day falling,
Right.
but
Is it going to continue? What's going
it
forward?
should,
shouldn't?
yeah,
Oh,
it should be,
okay.
but it's still a Monday, you know, so I guess
Yeah.
Monday is the question, but otherwise, no, it shouldn't be a council day unless a work session.
We don't have any other board Monday meetings.
We don't,
Okay.
not for the rest of the year. It was only January 2nd.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Then I'm okay continuing. I'm curious for your thoughts.
Yeah, as long as it's not on a council day, I think we
Yeah.
just need to make sure that if for some reason things get shifted and it's gonna land on a council day, we should
Yeah.
reschedule.
Yeah.
Okay, just automatically we'll make that rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 4 or 4:15.
Oh. I defer. Well,
I didn't get here.
I know it's,
so.
yeah. I know it's hard for you.
Well, yeah, 4:15 is okay with me, I think sometimes when it's on the 15, people don't, like, they even default to 4:30 or 4, so some people kind of miss it, but I think this is a small group, and I think we're used to maybe 4:15 on the closing meetings, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Is it better for you?
It's better.
Okay.
4:15.
Is that okay with everyone? Yeah, okay.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And there were 3 conflicting dates, none of which were a council date. April 22nd is the first day of Passover. And then May 27th, Memorial Day. And then December 23rd is right, Charlotte.
We should,
Yeah,
We'll cancel the December one for sure.
I think we could probably say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the May one, we should reschedule because, okay, we'll want to do some planning maybe for,
Earlier in the month.
yeah,
I wonder if we can combine the April and May.
yeah, let's do that.
Combine April and May, but not on a council day.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, if you can come up with, work your schedule magic.
I will,
Yeah.
at 4:15.
Right.
Okay. All right, I think we're all set then.
Great. And I'm just, well, let me just make a note here, because I will be out of town April. Actually, no, I just.
Yeah, okay. Approved.
We need a motion to approve the calendar, or we're just good?
Okay. All right, any additional information or upcoming business? Okay. In that case, we move to public comments. Looks like there is one person on the line, so if you'd like to join us for public comments, push, is it star 9?
Do we have anyone?
We do not, we do not. Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. Regina Watson, all in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thanks, Dykema.